All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So we got a lot of material to cover today, so let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, obviously you guys will notice up here, we have created a TRW Stone Wizard toolbar. So it's going to be actually right there in Corel Draw, but very easy to go in there and navigate, and it's going to help you, again, when creating your different designs. It's going to definitely help you with the different shortcuts here. So let me go ahead and click in the Stone Wizard all the way at the left here and bring that out. But what we have here is some different tools. So let's say I create a box here and another one here. Now you'll notice if I highlight these two objects, now we have our different icons up here light up. So these are the different ones for the shaping tools. So the combine, the weld, you can also have intersect, simplify, and all the different tools here that are going to help you through the designing process. So again, these are all tools in Corel Draw, but we decided to make it easier for you guys to find. So we added them right there to your toolbar, easy access. Okay. Do you guys find that toolbar helpful? Have you guys seen improvement in the time of production based on that toolbar there? Okay, so a lot of you guys have seen. So and that's all we would try to do with that is basically put everything that we're going to be using when designing right there for you guys for easy use. Okay. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and start with the TRW Stone Wizard. So here's the TRW Stone Wizard. As you can see, we're working with a 2.14. So if you guys have the 2.11 and over and up, most of these features, you're going to see all these features in there. I think the 2.10 was a little bit different based on we didn't have the magic envelope tools down here and the magic place and some of the different features here. But if you do have the 2.10, you just can go in your orders and actually upgrade to the 2.14. It's right. Oh, it should be right there for you to update it. It's free, so go ahead and do it if you guys haven't done so yet. All right, so what we've done now with the 2.14, what we went ahead and did is added a zoom button up here. So actually, if you aren't able to see some of the features because of the resolution on your screen, we have a zoom feature now that you can actually increase the zoom and see the TRW Stone Wizard a lot better. So what are you guys saying? Should I just, do you guys see it better if I work with it at the 150? Is that going to be easier for you guys to see? All right. So I'll just leave it there. That way you guys can actually see all the buttons that I'm touching on the wizard. All right. So we also added the metric unit here, so we actually can change it from inches to millimeters. I know we were requested to do that a little bit ago, so we wanted to go ahead and satisfy those that wanted to go ahead and use it in millimeters. So now if you are working in a different version of Corel, you can change it to millimeters, and there it is, the 3.302 for the SS10s. Okay. So very easy to go back and forth there. Now, one thing that we always kind of try to go over, but it seems like a lot of people don't know about, is the ability to change the size of the stones here to adjust it to your own custom size. So what we can do is of course we have all our preset settings here with all our different stone sizes here. So what I can do is I can go from SS6s to 8 to 10s to whichever size I want to work with in the TRW Stone Wizard. But of course, we've already preset those numbers in there for you. So what you guys can do is, let's say if you're working with a bigger stone size and you don't want to work 0.130, what we can do is hit this little tab right here, which is our little edit tool, and that's going to bring up our TRW edit stone sizes here. And this is where we can actually edit those different stone size. So I can do SS, let's just put 20. Oh, we already have a 20 in there, so let's change that. We'll just do 25. So whichever one we want to put in there, and then we can do, let's just do from right here, I can see it's 2.272, so I can increase that to, let's just say 2.75. And then the variance, let's go ahead and do 3.307, just to change it up and be completely random. So now what we've done is actually change that particular setting there, and that can just add it, and then we can move it up the list if we wanted to, and so on. And then now we can work with that particular stone size there. Now, of course, don't use those settings there because those are completely random. All right, so that is how you would change the different stone size there. And then, of course, I would go here to save and click on my save, which is going to, now I see my SS25 right there. Okay, so it's very easy to change those different stone sizes just to make it work a little bit easier for you, especially if you're using the different cutters. I mean, with sometimes with the silhouette cameo, you might want to make the stone size a little bit bigger or smaller, depending on what you're trying to cut or the complexity of the design. All right, and we also have the ability to do that with our color palette. So of course we have all our different stones here, but let's say you do purchase the stone from a different company, then you can edit that color right here. So again, we have our little pencil tool. That's going to bring up our TRW edit colors here. And as you can see, we have all different colors down here. But if I want to add my own, so let's just put TRW. And then based on the RGB color, so if you know the RGB color of that particular stone, you can actually change it to that exact color. So we can just do 30 and see how just typing in the 30 already changes the color for me there. So we'll do 5 there. And again, completely random. I'm just making this up. So there's the 35 and 98. So there's a kind of a like a navy blue there. I'm just going to go ahead add, and there it is. So there is my new color. And again, we can move it up the list by moving it with our little arrows here, or if I hold shift and hit my top arrow, it goes all the way to the top. Okay, so let's just say I have this TRW pink down there and I want to bring it all the way to the top of the list. We're going to go ahead and hit shift and left click on my top arrow here, and then it brings it right to the top. Just hit save, and now there's my pink right at the top of my color palette. Okay, so quick little trick there just to bring that color up to the top, especially if it's one that you're going to be using quite often. You can go ahead and do that. All right. Anybody have any questions so far? And again, guys, go ahead and ask as many questions as you guys want. Again, this is a beginner webinar, so I'll be more than happy to go over some different things to help you guys out. So if you guys have any issues with some of the features, let me know. This is a great time to ask for that. All right, so another great little shortcut that we have that I see not a lot of people use is our shortcuts right here. So our shortcuts tab right there. Let me go ahead and just go back to 10 So I like working with that there. So what we have here is, notice we have the number 6, 16, and 10. So what these are is our respace and replace stones shortcut tabs, okay? So what we can do with these little tabs right here is, basically, let's go ahead and create a design here. So let's go ahead and create a circle, and I'm going to go to my place and fill, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill this circle in. So I'm going to add stones and do an island fill to the inside. All right, so now we have our design here. Let me go ahead and clear paths here. So with this design, now what I can do is, if I want to go ahead and change the stones, the size of the design to SS6s, I'm going to go ahead to my number 6 right here and left click, okay? And notice that, oh, what do we have here? You know what? I have the different stone size, obviously. So that's actually, I'm glad that happened, because what that told me is that number 6 right there, I had the wrong settings for it, okay? So what I can do is, I'm going to go ahead and left click on hold down shift and left click on my 6. And now I have TRW quick set here. And notice what happened? SS25.302, and I had the caption as 6. So that's completely wrong. So what I want to do is, I'm going to go to my drop down menu here, and I'm going to go ahead and select SS6s now. I'm going to keep the caption the same unless I change that stone size, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Okay? So now let's go ahead and highlight my design and left click on that 6, and there it is. So now look at that. Now it changed that stone, or my design, to SS6 stones design. Okay? Anybody have any questions on that? Does anybody need me to go over how we change the actual settings inside the shortcut key? Okay. I see one of you guys do need. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that real quick for you guys again. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, let's go ahead and recreate another design here. Just real quick, we're going to go just fill this one in. All right, so let's say we want to go ahead and change this to SS6s, but not change the actual size of the design. So we just want to replace the stones, but not actually the size of the design. In order to do that, we actually need to right click now. Right click on the 6. Okay, so see that? So if we right click, what it did was actually resize the stones, but didn't change the size of the design. Okay, now to change that 16, let's say we wanted to change the 16 again. I'm gonna go over what we just did, guys. So to go over the 16 again, to change that the actual stone size in that shortcut key, we're gonna hold shift, left click, and that's gonna bring up our quick set here. And then we're gonna go ahead and notice I have SS6s set here, but I have the caption as 16. So again, that's not correct. So we're going to go ahead and change that caption of 10 to match the SS10s there. Hit save, and now that should be good. And then let's see what's going on with the 10 here. So hold shift, left click on the 10, and again, that is completely wrong. So we're going to go ahead and change this to, we'll go ahead and change it to 16s. And that's how easy it is to go ahead and change those. Very easy. Now if I want to go ahead and change the size of the design, highlight, and simply go to my 6s here. Actually, I'm going to go to 10s, hit that, and now it resizes it. See that? So now that design is completely resized, and now notice that the actual dimensions changed there. Okay. Now I do have a question here. That are the colors shown in RGB or CMYK? I need my chart to be RGB. Yes, it is. They are actually, the colors are in RGB. Okay. And then let me show you real quick here. So notice how right here you can actually enter in your RGB colors. So as long as you know that RGB number there, you're going to be able to edit those different colors. All right. So anybody have any questions in our shortcut keys here? Okay. Awesome. So let's go ahead and show you some different features here that we have under the actual tabs in the TRW Stone Wizard. So one of the features I always like to show that it's going to be a little bit of a, it's going to make things a little bit easier. Let me go ahead and create a couple boxes here for you guys. So this is one feature here that's not really known, but I think could be very helpful depending on some different things when you're designing. So let's go ahead and duplicate this design here. So watch what I'm going to do. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and left click down and drag my boxes, and if I hit the space bar, it actually duplicates it for me. You see that? And it actually creates a duplicate copy. So now I have my 3 boxes there. And that hit that space bar, that's actually a key, a little shortcut key in Corel Draw. So again, if I select my boxes or the objects I want to duplicate, left click down, drag, and just simply hit my space bar, it actually duplicates that object twice for me. Okay? So a little shortcut there for you guys, just to make things faster if you're trying to create multiple duplicates. But what I want to show you here is a little trick to actually help with the filling in process. So what I'm going to be using is the Add Stone Selected Path feature here. Okay, so what I want to first do is I'm just going to go ahead and add my stones to these objects here. So I'm just going to go Add Stone Selected Path and see what happens is we have a lot of stones all on my corners here where my lines intersect. We have stones touching, and also right here in the corners. So what I want to do is clean that up a little bit so we don't have as much editing once I clear my paths. Okay, so what are we going to do? We can also do a corner detect to do this. So let's go ahead and highlight these boxes here and hit Add Stone Selected Path. Now look at this. It did clean it up some, but notice at the intersecting points here, my stones are touching there. Okay, so there's still going to be some cleaning up to do. So now watch what I can do. I'm going to go to my Edit tab, and under my Edit tab, I have this little feature here. It is the Magic Sections feature. Okay, so watch what I can do if I highlight my objects now and hit that Magic Sections. Okay, doesn't look like it did much, right? But watch what happens if I try to drag just that little line right there. Notice it separated all my different lines. So why is that useful? Let's go ahead and highlight my design now and go back to my Place and Fill, hit Add Stone Selected Path. Now look at this. See how perfect my stones are? There are no overlapping stones, and this design will be perfect now. Notice how there's no editing. Just by doing that little step there, by hitting that Magic Sections tab, now my design came a lot cleaner. I don't have any editing to do, and I can go ahead and do whatever I need to do as far as go ahead, send this to my cutter or add it to a different design. Okay, so pretty simple, but pretty cool little trick there with the TRW Magic Sections in the TRW Stone Wizard. Did you guys know about that feature there? Have you guys actually been able to work with it or seen what it can do for you? Okay, so great. Not a lot of you guys. Oh, yeah, no problem at all. I can definitely re-show you that, Carrie. No problem at all. Let me go ahead and go back a few steps here. So real quick, to go back, we have our redo and undo keys down here at the bottom of the TRW Stone Wizard. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and my back arrow here, and it's just going to redo everything, undo what I just did, okay? So, again, let's go ahead and zoom in and show you here what we're doing. So, again, these are all separate objects. All 3 of these are separate objects, so we can color them in so you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and change them all to different colors, okay? So, these are all 3 different objects here. So what I can do, to the 3 different ways that we can add stones to this path right here, or this object, I'm going to go ahead and highlight all 3 objects and hit Add Stone Selected Path, okay? So let's go ahead here and clear my paths real quick. So there it is. There is my first way of doing it. So there is just by selecting Add Stone Selected Path, okay? Let me go ahead and make these black so you guys can see them a little better. But notice when I do it that way, I have a lot of stones that are touching or overlapping, okay? So right now, there was a lot of editing to be done in this particular design. And this is a pretty simple design, right? So we want to clean clean that up so we don't have, because we shouldn't have to edit this particular design. There's not enough to it, not enough complexity for us to have to edit this. So what also we can do is hit corner detect here. Okay, when I hit that corner detect, now it's going to detect all these areas here. So all these areas are kind of touching here, this corner here. Notice how it's kind of almost like a rounded corner rather than our nice square corner we have here at the top. So of course, this corner detect right there is going to help that out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add stone selected path, and there it is. So those corners are fixed now, but what I run into is that our intersecting points, so right here where our objects intersect, we still have overlapping stones, okay? So now we can use our magic sections feature. So back to edit, and then right down here at the bottom. So now don't mistake the magic sections for the magic envelope and magic place. It's completely different feature. It's not going to actually help you with the templates. What it's actually doing is separating our different sections. So it's creating everywhere you see a line to reach the end point right here, it's going to make that into its own individual segment. Okay, so let's go ahead and highlight our design. So notice this design right now is still completely opposite or different objects. So we're going to go and highlight, hit magic sections, and again, nothing to do with our magic place and magic envelope features. And actually, I think that's something Matt mentioned back in the past, that he might switch to a different location, not to so it doesn't confuse you guys. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit magic sections here, and now notice it didn't do much other than it gave us a little loading box there, but doesn't look like it did anything. Now if I go here to move my different individual segments, notice how it actually, I'm able to move each segment now as an individual kind of segment, I would say, yeah. So now I can move all these around, and notice how they're all its own segment. So let's go ahead and go back. Now what I'm doing, guys, is hitting Control Z as in zebra. And remember when I showed you that shortcut key, that means undo. Okay, so same thing as going back with your arrow here. I can hit Control Z, and it's going to undo everything I just did. All right, so looks like I went too far there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that magic section one more time. All right, so now that I have my different segments here, I'm simply going to go ahead and highlight. Now make sure you guys highlight the whole entire design, because every single part is individual now. So if I only selected a couple parts right here, it's not going to select my different boxes. So I'm going to highlight the whole entire design, and let's go back to my place and fill, and I'm simply going to do add stone selected path. And now look at this. See this? Now all my stones are perfectly placed. There's no editing I need to do. I'm going to just go ahead and highlight and do a clear path. Now I can go ahead and move all my different stones around. So see that? So this is the end result that I would like out of that particular design. No editing needed, because these are perfect squares. I mean, there shouldn't be any editing needed, especially when you were just doing a simple add stone selected path feature there. Okay? Alright, so Mike, can magic sections be used with only specific shapes? Would it work the same for overlapping circles, for example? Trying to understand the difference in when I would use magic section versus merge overlap. Mike, now the merge overlap is a little bit different, because let me go ahead and show you guys what the merge overlap is actually going to do. So let's say we have, let's go ahead and, actually, you know what, let's go ahead and create a heart here. So I'm going to go to my basic shapes tool and go ahead and do my basic shapes, and I'm going to go ahead and select my heart here. So let's go ahead and create a little heart, because I know with the heart is probably one of the toughest shapes to stone out. And the reason for it is basically it has these little areas right here that once it reaches a certain point, it's not going to fit another stone in there. So it's going to leave a nice little gap. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to actually shorten up that gap. So I do appreciate that that question, Mike. That's going to actually lead into the next part of the webinar. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to go do a simple island fill to the inside, and I'm going to add my stones. Okay. So what I run into now is these areas right here. See where my stones are touching there, Mike? Now, what I want to do is a couple different things I can go about this. I can either do, let me go ahead and duplicate this real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and drag to the right and just hit my space bar and duplicate that design. And you can also right click to duplicate it. All right, so Now what we have here, and the reason I did that way, because now look this. Now because I have overlapping stones, I want to show you what I can do with the merge overlap. So now what we can do is I can highlight this design right here, Mike, and hit my mark top layer, okay? So mark top layer is just going to mark all the stones that are touching, that are on the top layers on top of the other stones, and it's going to mark all those red. So notice if I move this stone out of the way, that is telling me that it was on top of another stone. So right here, you can see the stone that's overlapping a little bit better. But again, it's the top layer is going to be selected and it's going to be marked red. So what I can do is I can go ahead and move these over, or I can delete it. So it allows me to go in there and edit it as I wish, rather than the software deleting it by its, or selecting which stones it wants to merge and give it its own, and just merge them all together, rather than myself going in there and editing those different stones. So what I can also do is come to this one, and now what I want to do is hit merge overlap, which is the one all the way to the right here. So we have mark top layer, mark bottom layer, and then merge overlap here. Okay, so if I select that merge overlapping stones, what that's going to do is just going to clean its own. It's going to just basically every stone that's overlapping, it's going to make it into one. So notice now we have these different gaps here, but you know, sometimes it's easier just to do the mark top layer, because sometimes it's not, the stones won't even be touching that much. So you can actually go in there manually move them. So what I can do is I can come here and notice that now that they're touching, I'm able to do a couple different things with the wizard. So we have a feature down here. How many of you guys have actually worked with the Magic Respace tool? Okay, so it looks like a couple of you guys have. Actually, I think the Magic Respace tool is probably one of the most powerful features in the TRW Stone Wizard, because what it allows us to do, rather than us moving them one stone by one of the stones by one, what I can actually do now is, rather than do that, I can actually select all my stones I want to be in the same path. So I'm going to select all my stones here. So to do that, I'm going to hold shift and left click, left click, left click, or I can also draw a line through my stones with one of my tracing tools here. But you know, I've gotten pretty quick at it where I can just hold shift and click my stones and select all of them, and I think that's a little bit quicker for me, but everybody has their own preference, of course. So what I've done now is I've selected all my stones here. So let me take these out of the way so you can see which ones I've selected there, okay? So let's go back. Again, Control Z to go back. Now what I want to do is make sure that these are all spaced evenly. To do that, we're going to use our Magic Respace tool. So go down here, so we have our Clear Paths tool, and right next to that is our Respace Stones. So now I'm just going to select that, and look at that. See that? So it respaces them accordingly. Now that line right there is perfect. Looks like I can go ahead and move on to my bottom layer there. All right. To get rid of our little path right here. So to get rid of that path, let's go ahead and redo that real quick there. So to get rid of this path, I can either go here and select it and hit clear paths. Hold shift and hit clear paths, and that deletes it. Okay. So shift, clear path, get rid of our path. Now we're ready to move on to the next section of this design. Okay. So again, we're going to go ahead and select our beginning stone here, hold shift, and I'm just going to go ahead and select my stones that I want to be in the path and hit Magic Respace, and notice how it just respaces them. So sometimes I think it's easier to work with the mark top layer rather than do a merge overlap. Okay? But Mike, that's when you want to merge your stones together because they're touching, that's when you will use your merge overlap, okay? Does that make sense? No problem, Mike. Sarah, if you have time, can you go back over where you can change the stone size in a design but keep the image size? I'm trying to do that with a font. Okay, no problem. I can do that right now actually for you, Sarah. So what I can do here is, let me go ahead and delete these. So what I can do here is I'm just going to go ahead and go to my shortcut keys here. Now you also have the replace stones right here. It's your third option underneath my stone setting toolbar right there, my drop down menu. Okay, so what I have is my 6, 10, and 16, which of course I already fixed, so these are appropriate now. Now if I go ahead and use my right click on the 6, it's going to just replace my stones. Okay, so right click, replace stones. Now let's say I want to do 16s and change again the design. I can also use my replace stones feature here, and that I'm just going to do a left click. Okay, so notice I left click, now it just changed my stone size, so that's why they're all overlapping. But if I want to go ahead and go back to my 10s I can go here, SS10s, hit replace stones, and it replaces them again. So that replace stones is in two places, right here, and also in my shortcut keys. If I right click on my shortcut key there, it's also going to replace the stone. Okay, so real quick, left click, it's going to resize the design, and then right click is going to replace the stones. Now when we get to these two features here, we have resize design here. All we're going to do is just do a left click on that one, and same thing goes with our replace stones feature here. Okay, let me know if you need me to go over that one more time, Sarah. Okay, perfect. All right, so now let's go ahead and keep it in the edit tab tool here. So next thing I want to do, Sarah, does that not work with TrueType fonts? Oh, let me go ahead and bring a TrueType font in here and see what. Let me see. Do you know which TrueType font it is, Sarah, or is it just a single Rhinestone font, or a double? Is it a two color? Actually, I think I know what you're talking about. So let's type out the word baseball. So what Sarah is referring to, let's say we type out the word baseball, two color. Okay. It looks athletic. So let's just go ahead and do TRW then, because I think I know which one you're talking about. So TRW 7. All right, so we have our TRW 7 here. All right. Now, Sarah, I think what you're doing is, let me go ahead and add the second color here. So what you're doing is you're going here and hitting replace stones, right? Okay. So what you actually need to do in this case is we still need to resize the design to basically convert this from a TrueType font to a vector file, okay? So in order to do that, we're still going to go ahead and hit resize design, okay? So it's still going to ask us not all stones are 0.13. Would you like to replace the stones? Hit yes. So this now I'm able to move each individual circle, because now each individual circle is a vector file, okay? So what I can do from here is now I can go here, and let's say we want to go to sixes. We can go to my shortcut keys here, right click, and that's going to change it. Or let's go back one, or I can highlight my design, choose my SS6s here, and hit replace stones right here. Okay, so I think the one step you were missing was you needed to convert it into a vector file to be able to resize the stones. Okay, otherwise you would just, the wizard's not recognizing those circles as vector files, so it's not going to be able to do anything with them. Okay, so that's why you need to resize it first to basically convert it, and then you can go ahead and manipulate the stones how you like. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, and that's the thing. If it's the same font here, notice how this one, we're looking at 9.905 when we created it with the SS10s. So I mean, for 3 letters, that's pretty big design. Shelby, yes, I can go ahead and do that again for you. So let's go ahead and go back a few steps. So let's go back to where we had our design originally made. So here is, notice, and this is the best way to know, is because if I select the design, oh, that's the 2 colors, but if I try to select one stone in this design, I can move it around I can move the whole entire design, because again, it's still a text file. Now, if I zoom in, notice how my circles aren't even perfect. Again, because we still need to do a resize design, which is going to convert all those kind of oddball circles, or soon to be stones, into perfect stone size or perfect circles for you to be able to send to your cutter and cut perfectly. So let's go ahead and go back to where we have our 2 colors selected. Oh, sorry, Sarah. Sorry. So can we not change the size of the letters? You can, Sarah, and once I get to that point, I'll show you what you can do in that case. All right. So now to be able to change the stone size in this particular design, we are going to go ahead and do a resize design. So I'm just going to resize it. Again, the middle feature here, and just going to go ahead and select yes, and that's going to resize it for me. So if I select one stone now, it tells me this particular stone is 0.097, so I know that's a perfect size for my SS6s. Okay, so now in your case, Sarah, this design right here in the SS6 size is 7.41, or excuse me, 7.415. So that's still pretty big. I mean, you can probably get away with creating a decal at that size, but still pretty big design. Now I would probably bring the W a little bit closer so you can highlight that W. Now I'm going to hold Control, and Control is going to allow me to just basically move this letter right here in in my straight line there. So it's not going to let me move the object rather than just keep it in that straight plane. All right, so I can move it to the left a little bit. Ooh, let's go ahead and move it a little bit to the left. And notice how it doesn't allow me to actually move it up or down. Okay, now if I want to just kind of place it there perfect, I just use my arrow keys to just kind of place it and center it perfect on there. So that's going to take away a little bit from the size of the design. So notice it dropped this from 7.4 to 7.2 now. So right there, I mean, it's still pretty big, but again, you can get away with creating a car decal that way. All right, so now I can simply go here and hit if I want to change it to SS10s, you can actually make the design a little bit bigger. So I'm going to highlight the whole design. I can increase the size of it and then hit replace stones and just kind of play around until you get to a certain distance where you think you're able to cut. But that would be the only way you can actually resize the design, okay? And notice I even had to make it an inch bigger. And I mean, I can still go a little bit further and then hit replace again. And notice how now my stone's a little bit further apart. So I mean, that would be that would be another way to do it if you don't want to go with the recommended settings with using the when you want to replace it with the stones are in there already. So I mean, it's a little bit tedious to kind of spread them and kind of figure out the perfect spacing, but that's one way you can do it. No problem at all. All right, so next tab we want to show you is I want to go ahead and show you guys a couple different things with the magic envelope. I know we haven't talked much lately about them, so I just want to kind of go ahead and refresh those for you guys. So let me go ahead and bring in, I believe this is let me see where I have it. Oh, there's one. So I think there's my magic templates here. All right, so what we have for the magic templates is basically a way to add text to our different envelopes here to make multiple designs in a much faster rate. So what I can do is let me go ahead and here and ungroup my object. So a couple ways to ungroup. Again, remember Control U is going to ungroup it, or if you right click on it, well, let me go here, and if you right click on your design when it is grouped, you'll also see where it says group objects, or if you have the option to ungroup it, it's also going to be right there for you. All right, and of course you can go to object at the top here and also do your grouping from here as well. So different ways to do grouping in Corel Draw, and also we have it down here in the TRW Stone Wizard where we have the group all, ungroup object, or ungroup all objects. Okay, so now we have them ungroup. Let's say we want to add let me go ahead and get rid of a couple of these designs just so you guys can see a little bit of what I'm working with. So let's say we get rid of these and then just bring these up to the top. All right, so now what we have here is, let's say we want to add our school name to the top here to where our orange is, but we also want to delete that background. All right, so we want to get rid of the background. That way we don't have to worry about it later in the process of saving. You don't want to forget later on. So let's go ahead and type out the word. Let's go ahead and type out Mustangs. And notice how I'm just going to resize it a little bit so I can see it better, but it doesn't matter the size of that particular design there. So what I'm going to do is now, let's go ahead and just use, I don't know if I have college black or not here. Let's see. It doesn't look like I do, so let's go ahead and use impact for now. So we're going to make this into an impact font. Now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, just drag and right click, and we'll type in Lakewood. All right, so now that we have that created, now I'm going to go ahead and let's say I want to add Lakewood to all the areas that are orange here. So yeah, I guess these are a little bit flip-flop, so we'll go ahead and get rid of this one then. All right, so let's go ahead and add Lakewood to our 3 different envelopes here at the top, okay? So to do that, I'm going to highlight my orange. I can go to my Stone Wizard, and this is going to make things a little bit quicker for you. Because I want to select all of the same colors here, I can go to select all same color, and it's going to highlight just those orange boxes for me, okay? So again, select one of my envelopes, come right up to the top where it says select all same color, and then it's going to select all the same orange there. So any design that has orange, it's going to select for me. So now what I can do from here is I'm going to go ahead and select my text that I want to place into those envelopes. So I can go Shift, click on my Lakewood. All right, so Shift, click on Lakewood, and that's going to allow me to select the Lakewood text as well. And now from there, I'm simply going to go to my magic envelope, and we're going to go ahead and do a right click to get rid of the background, all right? So first I'm going to go ahead and do a left click to show you what that's going to do, and then we're going to go ahead and do a right click to show you what that's going to do. So left click, it's going to add Lakewood right to my envelope, but now I would still need to come in here, and I can select one of my orange boxes or one of my orange envelopes, select all, drag away, and hit delete. Okay, it's a little bit, it's a little bit tedious. It's gonna take a little bit longer, or we can simply go back. I'm gonna go ahead and Control Z it all the way to the back where we first started, and I'm gonna go ahead and select my magic envelope, the top one here. Select all same color. Shift, click on Lakewood. Now I have 4 objects selected there. Now I'm gonna do is simply hit magic envelope, but I'm going to right click it this time rather than do a left click. All right, so right click, there it is, deleted my background. Now I don't have to worry about that later on when I'm creating these different logos or designs for these different schools or teams. Now another cool trick there is, let's say we want to add the Lakewood here. Rather than add it on the top, we want to add it to the side here. So we want to actually make this into a vertical text rather than this horizontal here. What I can do is we have our vertical text feature here. All right, so vertical text, left click on that. Oh, look at that. Now we have our Lakewood text is up and down. Now if I want to go ahead and bring these letters closer together, I'm going to go to my shape tool here, or I can do text spacing. And I'm simply going to go ahead and drag my little arrow up or down, and that's going to bring them closer together. You see that? All right, so again, does anybody need me to go over that real quick again, the vertical text? All right, so one more time. Text spacing, and then notice we have our 2 different arrows down here. Now I can either drag my arrow, so I'm going to left click on the arrow and drag down to increase the spacing between each letter, or I'm going to drag up to make those letters come closer together. Okay, so now we have our text exactly what we want it to be. Now what I can do is we're going to go ahead and select our yellow here, click shift click on the Lakewood, and we're going to magic envelope it, and there it is. So it places perfect in that box for me. And again, if I want to go ahead and delete the background, we're going to go ahead and select our magic envelope first. So always hit the magic envelope first, shift click on the Lakewood, and then magic envelope it. Oh, and of course I left click it. So let's go back one more time. Shift click on the Lakewood, and then right click on the magic envelope, and it gets rid of the background. Okay, so pretty quick and easy there. Again, that's going to allow you to create multiple logos or designs using the same text. So if you're working with a team name or a school, that's going to be perfect for that. And we do offer a lot of different templates of the magic templates that you guys can work with. And now, of course, this feature there only works with, I believe it was 2.11 and newer. So anything older than 2.11, you won't see that feature in there, especially with the vertical text here. All right. Anybody have any questions in regards to the magic envelopes or any of the tools we just went over there in the edit tab? Teresa, how do you move individual letters in a word when the text spacing doesn't look right? Rhinestone font or regular font? Great question, Teresa. Let me go ahead and show you that real quick here. So let's say we have the word baseball, okay, and we just want to move the A. So we want to go ahead and drag that A somewhere else. All right. A couple ways to go about it. Obviously, you can go ahead and convert this into curves and then move each individual letter. Or I can go to my text spacing here, and instead of using my arrows here, so the arrow is going to move my text and separate the spacing between each letter. Or what else I can do is I can grab my little boxes here in the bottom left corner and drag each individual letter. So now look at that. So if I drag just that little box in the bottom left corner, it allows me to drag each individual letter around my screen. Now if I go ahead and try to, so see if I can select my text again, and this is still a normal text, so I can move it all around because it's still in text format. Okay, so that's how you would move those letters around there, Teresa. No problem at all. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of this. All right, now one quick little trick I want to show you guys here real quick. So let's say you wanted to go ahead and resize this text here. Now, if you hold shift and actually use our little box here in the corners and hold shift, notice how it actually resizes off the center point here. So normally if I resize it and I grab the left one and bring it all the way to the right, then it's going to change the size of the actual font. It's going to change the actual positioning of the font. But now if I hold shift and increase the size now, notice how it builds that font from the center. Oh, are you guys having trouble with the sound, guys? Cinda, you still having problems? Okay. Okay, check, Cinda, it looks like I'm, okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, really quick there, hold shift, and then you're able to resize this particular text from the center point there, okay? So just a quick little trick there to help you guys out when doing different designs. It's gonna make things a little bit easier just to resize that text, especially if you're working with vinyl. All right, now, one little quick trick when placing our stones that I wanna show you guys is, have you guys, now when you guys are trying to do maybe an outline around a word, so let's say we use Lakewood. This is just a quick little trick I want to show you just because it is pretty helpful. So let's say I want to use this, let's go ahead and change this to a script font. So I'm going to go to font and we're going to go ahead and do brush script. So I have my brush script font here. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do here. All right, so let's go ahead and go lowercase for most of this. So let's say we want to add stones to this particular text here. Okay, so let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. So if I were to add stones right now and I try to do an outline around this word right here, this text, watch what's going to happen. So I'm going to add one outline to the outside. I'm going to add stones, so 0.07, and then we're just going to do an island fill. Okay, so look what happens here. Notice how we have a lot of stones in the inside that are touching there. It's kind of sloppy, so we're going to have to do a lot of editing inside of that text. So what I want to do is just basically add stones to the outside here, okay? So I don't want to have the stones inside my space here. So in that case, a little shortcut and a little trick there, what we can actually do is go to my shaping tools up here, and there's a boundary tool. So with that boundary, it's going to create a boundary just for this design. So it's only going to create that boundary on the outside. So notice if I pull the boundary away, the actual circles here aren't selected. So now watch what happens when I go to my, so I'm going to have my boundary selected again. So that top layer is my boundary. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my island fill and see what happens when I do an island fill. Look how much nicer and cleaner that looks because it didn't place my stones on the inside of my letters there, okay? So that boundary is going to help me do that and make that design look a lot nicer and more presentable. So now it's going to be a little bit, the editing process is going to be just a cake job with our different tools in the wizard. So here, Mike, this is where I would use merge overlap, would be right here, okay? Because in this case, I would want to merge it just to create a one row of stones, okay? So that's that. In that case, is where you would want to do that. All right. So a little trick there to help you guys out. Did that help you guys? Did that make sense there? Why did we did the boundary rather than just do an island fill in place of stones? Okay, perfect. So again, yeah, it's gonna just help. It's gonna just help in the future with the editing process when you go in and try to edit the stones out. All right. All right. Another little tool that we have in the TRW Stone Wizard that I know we don't cover a lot of, but we have the design prep feature up here. This tab right here. Let me show you exactly when we can use this tab. So let me go ahead and bring in. I believe I have a design here. Let me go ahead and bring this design in. All right. So we have our baseball mom design here. All right. So let me go ahead. Cinda, do you know word is right size for stones? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Cinda. Yeah, let me know exactly what you mean by that question, all right? All right, so what I want to do here is let me go ahead and get rid of let me go to ungroup. So again, we can right click to ungroup all objects up here, or we can go to the TRW Stone Wizard and ungroup all objects here. All right. So now what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight this part of the design and get rid of it because I don't need it. And let's go ahead and select these stones in the middle and make this black so you guys can see a little bit better. All right. So let me go ahead and duplicate this. So I'm going to drag. All right. So I'm left clicking down, dragging to the right, and just right clicking now. And that's going to duplicate my design. All right. So now I have two versions of this same design. So here's what's going to happen. Okay. So say I want to select only this design here and change the color of the black stones. So I want to change those to yellow to make this a softball design. All right. Of course, I would delete the baseball and add it to softball, but for the time being, we're just gonna leave it like that and make that. And I want to make the inside yellow. Okay. But I want to leave this the same color. Okay. So this design is gonna stay the same, and this one's gonna change. Of course, right now, if I wanted to change the colors of my stones, I would just simply select one of my stones here, go to select all same color. But look at the issue I run into is it selects both of my designs. Okay. So that's not going to work. So what I can actually do to fix that issue is I'm going to go ahead and highlight the design I want to change. So this particular design here, we can leave this one as is. So this one's going to stay and this one's going to change. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit process by color now. Okay. So look at this. Now what this shows me is the baseball mom. So that text in there, and the little home plate. Now that's going to be the only thing selected here. So notice how my top design wasn't selected at all. So now I can go ahead and select that and change that to yellow. Now look at that. Now we have two completely different designs. I can go ahead and change the baseball there to softball if I like. But basically the main point was to be able to change the color inside that inside color stone to a different color, so we can have two completely different designs, but make it very easy to change the stone color rather than having to delete the top one, bring it back. That design prep is going to make it a little bit easier for you. Now we have also our quick proof down here, and the quick proof is pretty simple to use. What I can do is highlight this design. Let's get this out of the way. Now the big thing is, remember when you guys are saving or exporting a feature, make sure you guys keep the workspace big enough to fit the whole design in there. But what I want to do from here is I'm going to select my design. I can add a background, I can add watermark, I can simulate stones, and let's just go ahead and do add logo. Now I can just do add, and this is just going to create a quick proof so I can send it to my customer. So if you don't want to create a whole mock-up with a shirt and everything, just want to do a quick little proof right here in my design prep feature or tab in the TRW Stone Wizard, that's where you're going to be able to do that. All right. Does anybody need, have you guys been working with, have you guys ever seen that design prep tool or worked with it at all? Because it's pretty useful. I mean, especially if you're working with multiple designs on the same page, it's going to make things a little bit easier with when changing the different colors in those designs. So nice little trick there. If you haven't used it, I'm sure you've run into a problem where you've had to, delete a design just so you can work on a particular part of another design and then bring it back, which can get a little bit tedious there. All right. Now, Cinda, Lakewood, will it work with stone? Cinda, now in that case, you wouldn't be able to change the text, because once you convert it into a true type font, it's gonna distort the stones once you actually do the magic envelope. So what you would do in that case, I would create the envelope first and then basically place the stones on the text. All right, and I can show you that here. But I do see a couple questions coming in for this feature, so let me go ahead and answer those real quick. Show changing those colors again. Okay, yeah, I can do that. And then what if I only want to change the color of the ball? So let me see if I know what you're talking about here. So you're saying you just want to change these colors in here. All right, so we can go here, because it should work technically. All right, so yeah, that's a great, Carrie, there you go, figured it out. So I think that's all that was happening, is I needed to close down the wizard and reopen it. Now look what happens. I just selected just the inside there. So just the inside, and now I can go ahead and change the color of the inside there. So see that? And then let's process it again, and just gonna select the inside there. We can make that white. So that's, that's one way to do it right there. Actually, look at that. Figured out something new. Then that's a great thing about these webinars, kind of figuring things out as we go. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, just after kind of, failing a few times there, kind of makes sense now, and it's a lot easier than I thought. So yeah, pretty easy, actually pretty cool to be able to change different parts of just that design as well. All right, Carrie? Awesome. So great question there. So let's go ahead and go back, and let's go ahead and I'm gonna go close it down again. So it looks like and go back to our original design. So Teresa, same thing we did there. I'm just gonna select the area that I want to change the color. So notice it doesn't even matter if it's the full design or not. It can be a part of the design. So I'm going to highlight here, and we're going to go to our design prep and hit process by color. Okay, Teresa? So once I do that, it brings up the different parts of my design here, and I can change those to whatever color I need to change them to. So if I need it to be aqua, I can do that. And then if I hit process by color again, it's going to just bring up the second color, and I can change that if I needed to as well. Okay? So pretty simple there to change those different colors, especially when you're working with multiple designs on the same screen. So if you have 4 different designs and all those designs share the same color, that's going to be the easiest way to change the different colors in the designs. All right, so next thing is, it's 11:25 already. Almost running out of time here, guys. Anything you guys want to go over again? Anything you guys haven't seen? Maybe looks like we ran out of time here, but I do want to answer any questions that you guys might have. How can I move the toolbar more to the right so it's in the center instead of way over to the right? All right, let me see. The big thing with it is you got to right click. So Margot, what we're going to do in that case, so she wants to move the toolbar some to the right. Let me see what we can do here. So I'm going to right click on my TRW toolbar and unlock it. So where it says lock toolbars, and then I'm just going to go ahead and drag it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So let me see if I can move it up here and then move it down some. So you can do something like this, Margot, where you can move it around a little bit and then drop it in. But yeah, you would just have to kind of play around with your toolbar, depending on where you have everything stationed in your toolbar. But yeah, you can kind of move it around your screen like this. I see what you're saying, though, to move it to the right some. I'll have to look into that and see if we can do anything about being able to move it closer to the center. All right. Yeah, because it looks like it keeps clicking on the left-hand side. So yeah, Mark, I'll look into that for you. Now, Mike, when and why would you use the magic stone button? Haven't figured out why or where I would use that feature. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that up. All right, so let's go ahead and hit our magic stone feature. So mockups, we have magic stones. Okay, notice how up here, Mike, we have simulate stones. It's the same exact thing. So let's say we go create our design here. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and delete that. I already had a design. So let's go back. So let's say we have this design here. All right, so let's say we have this design here, and I want to, let's go ahead and first of all change this to, let's say, crystal. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and create a quick background. So design prep, add background. All right, so I have my background here. Let's say when I create my mockup, I forget to do the simulate stones feature. All right, so that's the same exact thing. Magic stones is going to be the same exact feature. So I can highlight it here. I can hit magic stones, and now it's going to select and create the, looks like I left something behind here. And notice because it's not in the workspace area here, guys, it's not allowing me, it's not adding the stones to that particular area here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back one, and I'm just going to increase the size of my workspace area to 15. Now if I highlight my design and I hit magic stones, now it creates everything into a magic stone. So it actually just, what it does, it adds the rhinestone feature to this particular design. Now here's a good trick here. So if I re-highlight my design, yeah, exactly. Just another way to add simulate stones, exactly. And now, of course, if you want to get rid of the magic stones, now all you have to do is hold shift and left click on magic stones, and it actually deletes the magic stones for you. All right, so if there's something you want to change in the mockup, because you're able to edit the mockups as you go. There's something, let's say you want to change the color of the stones in the inside here, and you already did the simulate stones feature. If you hold shift and left click on the magic stones, it's going to do it for you. So it just deletes the top layer, which is the rhinestone simulator stones, and then I'm able to change the stones again. So if I want to make this yellow now, or citrine, just to match up softball, of course I would say softball there. Now I can do that, highlight again, hit magic stones, and that's going to add the stones for me. Now, of course, you can add a little bit of bling to it if you like. Let's go ahead and hold shift. Let's go ahead and hit magic bling, and then let's hold shift and left click. And when I do that, it creates a nice little bling star there, which is great for, if you're creating this mock-up on a t-shirt. If you want to get the nice big star in there, just left click, don't hold shift down, and that's going to give you a bigger star. So small, hold shift, you get a small star. Left click only, you get the bigger star. All right? And then, of course, one of the things you got to remember is once you're done using the magic blink stars, make sure you left click on the magic bling here to kind of deactivate that feature. Now I can go ahead and use my highlight tool again. All right, nice. Exactly, yeah, exactly, Mike. And that's when it comes in handy, so you don't have to go back and recreate another mockup. Just a simple shift, click on magic stones, gonna do it for you. All right. So another great tip, great question there, Mike. Learning curve, yeah, and like everything else, Mike, there is gonna be a learning curve with the software, just like anything else. All right, now again, guys, appreciate you guys, everybody coming in today. Looks like we ran a little bit out of time, but I do want to answer any more questions if you guys have any. You know, I don't mind going over a couple minutes just to help you guys out. So if there's anything you guys want to see or you guys been struggling with when working in this TRW Stone Wizard, let me know. I'll be more than happy to cover that now. Now, have you guys been working? Have you guys gotten accustomed to the different shortcuts for the templates here? It's probably one I want to cover here. So we did just create. We kind of made it easy for you guys, especially when working with multi-deck designs, because multi-deck designs have become so big in the industry now. We've added some different features in this particular template or this tab right here, the templates tab, just to make things easier for you guys. So let's go ahead and say we have, we have the word cheer typed out. All right. And I'm going to go to my fonts and let's type in TRW cheer. So I know I have some images here. I have my image font here. So we have this design here. Okay. And let me add the second color to it. So we have this design here. And now, again, I'm going to use that boundary so I can go ahead and add another row of stones to this particular design. So there's my boundary here. And we're just going to do a place and fill to the outside, 0.07. All right. So we got that island. Oh, it helps if I add how many islands I need. So I have my island fill there. Let's go ahead and get rid of my path and get rid of my boundary as well. All right. So there's my design. Now this is a multi-deck design because we have vinyl on the inside and we have the rhinestones on the outside. All right. So right now, if I were to create a rhinestone file out of this, I would cut as is. So I would just get the rhinestones out of there, create one template for them, and cut. But I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't have to mirror it. I wouldn't have to do anything with the rhinestones. Now, with the vinyl, if I were to cut it, I do need to still mirror that particular design. So what happened was, there was many instances where we went ahead and cut out the vinyl or the rhinestone part, the template, the sticky flock, and, left the cheer part the same. Forget to mirror it, cut out the cheer, and then realize, after we wasted the material, oh man, we forgot to mirror. We got to cut this again. So what we did is just made it easy for you guys. So now, if I highlight my design, go to my templates, and let me go ahead and zoom out so you guys can see a little bit better. So if I zoom out, or excuse me, if I highlight my design, and now I right-click on the TRW Magic templates, look at that, it does it for me. So now I don't have to worry about later on remembering to mirror the vector file or the HCV part of this design. It does it for me. Now I'm ready to send all the different parts to my cutter. So send the sticky flock, send right there would be your Easyweed black vinyl, and then obviously your orange here. So send that to the cutter and everything is ready. You don't have to worry about remembering how to mirror anything later on. It's all ready to go from there. Okay. So another little trick there. Now, another one we added to it is if we hold down shift. So again, this tool right here, just alone this top tool here can do many different things depending on which key you're using. So now if we hold shift, watch what's going to happen if I hold shift and left click on my TRW Magic templates. Now the shift is going to work. Let me go ahead and redo that here. Something's going on with this one. But let's say we have our font here. Let me go ahead and get rid of my stones for this particular part. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create, let's say we want to make this into car vinyl. So we're going to make this into a window decal. Now, so we can change the size of this design smaller because we're working with vector. With vector artwork, we can still resize it. Don't have to worry about a certain stone size in this particular case. So now what I'm going to do, first things first, let me make sure there's nothing in the background here. Make sure everything is working properly. Perfect. So I'm going to go back, highlight my design, and now I'm going to hold shift and left click on my TRW Magic templates. And for some reason, this is coming up a little bit weird. I'm going to have to look into this. But what we see here is going to be a registration mark. And that registration mark is going to allow you to basically create those two color those two-color carved vinyl decals, so you can put two-color school logos or your teams or the team's name, different things you can do. Obviously, the profits on the FTC sign vinyl are huge when working because they're really easy to make, and then obviously you can upsell the pretty well based on the customization you're adding to it. So you can add that particular player's number or the name, last name. That's gonna add more value to those different decals. Now, Rena, this is your question. Can we create a filled box with letter fill in the inside of the box? Rena, let me see if I know where so you're saying basically create a box here, place my stones in there. So let's say this is what we're talking about here. Just create this, and then so basically we want to add a text in there. All right, if I'm thinking correctly. Okay, so let's see. One thing you could do is I can, that one way you would be able to do this is the merge overlap. So let's say you type in RM. I can highlight that, and let's go ahead and change that to one of our fonts here. Let's see what we can do here. And then we're just going to resize this and change it to yellow. So one way to do it is, I'm also going to group it. So now I have this in here. I can drop this in here, and then we're going to go ahead and highlight my whole entire box, and I'm going to do a merge overlap here, okay? Oh, you know what I did wrong there? I want to make sure that this layer there is on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and highlight just the RM part of it. All right, and then I'm going to go to Edit, to the back, and now we're going to go ahead and highlight my design and hit Merge Overlap. All right, so there it is. So there's my RM. Now I just need a little bit of editing here and there. You can come here and edit these stones out a little bit. But yeah, I think, you could definitely hit those and then fill them in. So yeah, that would be one way to do it. It would be with the merge overlap, and then kind of start filling in some different areas here with the stones. Now, another kind of cool trick that I don't think a lot of, I just kind of ran into not too long ago. Let me show you another cool little trick here. So place and fill. Let's go ahead and do my hatch fill and get rid of my paths here. So another cool little trick here that you can also do is, let's say we want to add, we'll just go ahead and do, again, TRW. And let's make that into my impact font. So another one you can do is actually see if I remember how to do this correctly. So we're going to go here and Stone Wizard, edit to the back. And now watch what happens if I go to my magic lasso here. So we have this magic lasso tool down here. So if I select that, let's see what happens here. All right, let me go ahead. You know what it was? Let me go ahead and select my text. And then let's go ahead and do magic lasso and change that to yellow. So it kind of works a little bit there. A little bit of editing there for my stones. So maybe make these all yellow. Yeah, so see what we did there? You can still kind of see that text going through. Maybe fix a couple stones here and there. But not too bad. Let's say we can go here. And then here. And then we can do select between two stones. Make that yellow. So see what we're doing? We're just kind of playing around with it a little bit. But yeah, that magic envelope there will also allow us to do something like that, where it's going to convert that text into stones there. It's going to basically bring it up to and kind of create that text with the stones. So that would be another way to do it. But I think the easiest way, honestly, would be the cleanest way would be that merge overlap and then just fixing a couple of the stones in there. And now the only reason that this one looks so well is because of the text that we used. It was pretty blocky. So it looked like it was kind of placed perfectly on top of those stones that it made it look pretty good. All right. But yeah, those would be the two ways to do that, Rena. Did you need me to go over that again? Did that make sense? Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So again, I do appreciate everybody's time today. I know we went a little bit over. I did record the webinar as well, so hopefully within the next couple of days we'll have the recording up. Again, I appreciate everybody who came in, asked questions. I always appreciate the interactive part of the webinars. I love interacting with you guys and helping you guys out. So again, let us know if you guys have any recommendations, any suggestions in future videos or webinars. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Again, we're doing a lot more we're doing a lot more trainings at the trade shows as well. Let me go ahead and bring up. If you guys haven't been to a trade show in the past, we have finally started doing a lot of the different. We've started finally doing a lot more of the seminars at the trade shows. So if you guys ever want to come in and check them out, we do a lot with the education part of the business. So we're here to help you guys out and show you guys all the different steps and different ways to do different things, which is why we create so many different videos and webinars. But under our trade show schedule here, we have all our different trade shows that are coming up. So we just got done with Arlington, so that was our latest one, which we had a great time at. Appreciate everybody who came out. We also had 2 classes there. The next one is going to be in Indianapolis here. So that's going to be another big show for us. We have 2 classes as well, one on June 4th, one on June 5th. So make sure you guys come in here and register. Great thing about these classes, guys, they're free. So come in, enjoy. Make sure you guys come in early enough that you guys get a good seat. I know the last few shows we've had a full house, so make sure you guys get in there early and check it out. Again, it's going to be a great time, a great show. Indy is an awesome place to go to. So, Tracy, we'll see you there. Awesome. So, yeah, it's going to be a great time. Again, we're going to be in booth 1001, and the show dates are the 4th through the 6th of next month, which is June, which is actually 2 weeks away. This year is flying by. But, again, guys, we also have some other shows that have to set up in July. Long Beach, NBM Long Beach, if you guys in the California area. I know that's always a big spot for us. We love going there, love meeting all of you guys in the other coast. We're also going to be doing, guys, another cool thing. We actually have, I don't know if you guys have ever attended our TRW lab before, or our lounge, I'm sorry. We do have a lounge coming up. So let me click on, calendar here. So under the calendar, we do have a couple things set up here. If you guys haven't checked out the calendar yet, pretty nifty here. But we have all our different events that are coming up. You can find right in here. Notice if I go down, scroll down a little bit here, is we have the lounge. And the lounge is actually set up for 7:30 next week on Wednesday. So if you guys haven't been able to attend a lounge, because we normally do them pretty early, we're actually going to be having this one at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time to obviously accommodate a lot of you guys are on the other coast. So again, it's a pretty cool little atmosphere, you're able to come in and ask all the questions. We have nothing prepared basically in there, just to answer questions for you guys. Normally we do some giveaways. We have some fun with it. So just come in there. It's going to be a laid back atmosphere, guys. So, kind of a way to de-stress from the week's work. Come in there, ask any questions you guys might have for us. We'll be more than happy to answer them. All free for you guys to go in there and check that out. So I'll see most of you guys there next week. I believe it's going to be myself and Lisa. We're going to be doing the broadcast for that one. I know Matt has, I think he has a Little League game. He's coaching, so we're going to be holding down the fort that night. So again, guys, appreciate everybody's help this afternoon or this morning, asking questions and being interactive with myself. Again, great time with the webinar. We do have, I believe we have one tomorrow as well at 1 p.m. So make sure you guys register for that one. That's going to be going over the TrueType fonts and how to utilize those when creating different parts of designs or doing different custom designs. All right. Again, this is Rudy with the Rhinestone World. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to give us a call. 941-755-1696. Have a great day, everybody.